Hello everybody, my name is Jessica Hicks and I'll be discussing basic photography tips with you today. So basically, everybody has taken a photo in their lifetime, right?
Sure.
Whether that be on your iPhone, on a Polaroid 20 years ago, or on a film camera 50 years ago, people have taken photos. Now everybody can take a photo, but not everybody can make a photo. So we'll be talking about basic photography tips that will help you improve your photography skills. So, understanding photography is understanding camera settings, which includes ISO, aperture, shutter speed, along with angles and poses. So basically, on your camera, you have ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. All of these manipulate light in your photos. ISO measures how much light your camera sensor is getting. So the higher ISO, the brighter your photo will be, and the lower your ISO, the darker your photo will be. Now, there's an artistic detail on all of these. So the artistic detail in ISO is that the higher your ISO will be, the more grainy your photo will be. So if you like that film type of look, you're going to have a higher ISO. Now, if you have a lower ISO, that means your photo will look a little more clear. Aperture is measured in f-stops, so that basically is what you're focusing on. That changes light as well. Shutter speed is a measure of how your iris is open, and I can show you an example here. So ISO here, if you have a darker environment, you're going to want a smaller ISO. I personally use anything between 200 to 400 on my camera. So this is a darker environment, so they had to use a higher ISO here. So aperture, this is a photo of basically your camera's iris. So the smaller your f-stop is, like I said, that basically is what measures your aperture. So the smaller the f-stop is, the more focused you're going to be on whatever is closer to your camera. So you can see here in this photo, Wally, he's closer to the camera. It's a shorter f-stop, so everything in the background is blurry. Now, if you're doing like a landscape photo, you're going to have a higher f-stop, and everything in the photo is going to be clearer and in focus. So this photo right here is a higher f-stop, which that's what it would look like right there. Now, shutter speed, yes, you are taking a photo, but your photo is going to capture motion blur. So shutter speed, like I said, is basically how long your iris is open. So if you are at 1/1000 second, it's going to be faster, so you can capture everything in the photo very quickly. If it's a lower 1/15 of a second, then that means it's going to be long. That means your shutter is going to be open for 15 seconds, so you're going to capture all that motion. So that's better for taking pictures of waterfalls, or even if you want to take a picture of the night sky and capture the stars, you're going to have a lower shutter speed. Now that you understand your basic camera settings, you can kind of get a good look at what type of angle you should be looking at. Now, with any portrait photography, you're going to have to want a higher angle on your subject, whether it be a child or an adult. Typically, the eyes will look bigger and become more emphasized, and sometimes the subject will want their body to look smaller, so you're going to get above them and get that look, and everything below the head will look smaller. And contrary, you could use lower angles, like I used in this photo here. You could use them for landscapes or building shoots. It just creates this feeling of awe or wonder in your shot, like I did here. Now that you got angles, you can focus on posing your subjects in your photo. So basically, what you want to do first is make sure your subject has a nice straight back. That makes them look more confident. I would suggest doing that with anybody you shoot. After you tell them to have a straight back, you want to look at details like their hands, their legs, whatever's in the shot, just to make sure everything looks like they're comfortable and like they're confident as well. Now, fstoppers.com did mention the S pose, which I do use as well. Basically, that's turning their shoulders to a certain angle. I would suggest on turning their faces towards the light, whether that be this way or that way. Now that pose, F-stoppers did mention that was more of a feminine pose. Like you can see here, her shoulders are facing this way and her head's facing that way. This is also a group shot, which is a little bit more difficult if you're shooting groups. Rather, whatever relationship they have, you want to make sure they acknowledge each other in the photo. So this is an aunt and niece, so you make sure they're acknowledging each other, her hands on her shoulder. They have a good, strong relationship from what you can tell in that photo. And with those tips, posing, angles, and camera settings, you'll become a better photographer, whether that be in studio or at your next family barbecue. You can use these tips and have better photos. Thanks.